Hello， 大家好，我係 Edith。咁今日咧就想同大家分享一啲咧我哋平時未必有機會接觸到嘅資訊。呢個資訊咧就係 WA 西澳洲嘅電影產業。原來咧普通人都可以投資電影嘅喎，所以咧今日咧我哋就請到 Sandalwood Entertainment 嘅 General Manager Paul 同大家分享一下澳洲嘅電影產業啦，同埋投資機會。如果大家有興趣嘅話咧，就繼續睇埋落去啦。Today we are talking to Paul Lawrence from Sandalwood Entertainment. We have asked Paul along today to explain to us about the investment opportunity of the Australian film industry based in Perth, Western Australia. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Edith. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Paul?
Very well and very excited to be here. Thank you.
Paul, can you tell me more about the Australian film industry?
Sure. Well, I'd love to. Well, the industry is well established and we've been making films in Western Australia for nearly a century. There's a lot of government support for filmmakers and it's easier for young actors, producers and directors to come here and get their start. So, for example, young Nicole Kidman, she started her first movie as a teenager here in Perth. We've recently hosted Nicolas Cage over the summer, and Chris Hemsworth is also a regular visitor to Western Australia. But, you know, making film doesn't always require us to be in Western Australia. WA is just a lot easier to film in, particularly if we're filming outdoors. We have beautiful weather all year round, and the government is very keen to promote the industry. In fact, you could probably argue that the film industry in Western Australia is about to see some pretty significant growth.
How so?
Well, as of the middle of the year, all streaming companies are required to reinvest 20% of their profits into Australian content. So that's in the vicinity of $650 million a year to produce Australian-made content or to purchase Australian-made content. So that represents a fantastic opportunity for us at Sandalwood and for our partners in all productions as streamers present the best and most profitable sales avenue. Also, state government has invested $250 million into building a new studio that is due to be opened in about 2 years' time. So that facility itself is going to help shed some global spotlight on Perth and help attract bigger productions and more stars.
What is it about the streamer that is so important?
So the streamers, that's Netflix, Paramount, Disney, Stan, and many others, they're all vying for original content. They have large numbers of viewers who are always after original content, and these streaming companies have very large budgets for that original content. Given that the government is making them invest profits back into the industry, that's $650 million that I just touched on a minute ago, that makes them ideal companies for companies such as Sandalwood, with projects that have a good budget and global appeal for sales. So you could say that we're deliberately focusing our sales program at those streaming platforms.
With all this opportunity and a new studio being built, do we have talent in WA or to attract talent to WA?
Absolutely we do. So as we just discussed, we recently hosted Nicolas Cage over the summer. Some other talent to come out of Western Australia. We have Heath Ledger, who played the Joker in Batman. He was born and raised here, as were many other great Australian actors, directors and producers. And if they're not born here, many actually move over here to study at the Performing Arts Academy. I'll give you an example. So Hugh Jackman, who played Wolverine in X-Men, he moved to Perth to study at WAPA. In actual fact, he rated his experience here at WAPA so much that he's established a scholarship at the school.
So how did Sandalwood get into the film industry?
That's a really good question. So essentially, it came about because Sandalwood, my business partners, we're film investors ourselves. So as investors, we were generally unhappy with the way that our investment funds were being managed, and ultimately how as investors we were being treated by other filmmakers. So my two partners and I, we thought there had to be a better, fairer and more profitable way of doing it. I mean, let's not kid ourselves, okay? There's good money to be made in making film. It's funny, when the three of us got together and spoke, we found that we were all thinking and feeling the same way. We had the same grievances, the same ideas, and we actually had the same ideas on how to do it right. And from that came the Sandalwood model.
So what is the Sandalwood model?
Firstly, it's not really our model. The general idea belongs to Blumhouse Productions in Hollywood. We just stole the best parts. So the Sandalwood model consists of a number of risk management strategies. Why? Because all investment involves risk, right? So the idea is to remove, lower or minimise those risks to a level that is acceptable to you, the investor, or myself as the investor. So how do we do it? Number one, we look at the genre of a film because genre is everything. So selecting a profitable genre is very important because the genre has such a big impact on everything you do in making a film. So from potential sales, to the actors required, to setting budgets, scheduling, stunts. In fact, genre affects almost every aspect of making a film. So to give you an example of what I'm talking about, in a horror or a thriller movie, I don't need a $30 million budget, and I don't need someone like Tom Cruise. I don't need expensive stunts or exotic locations. These all cost a lot of money. So a horror movie lends itself to being a more affordable film because it requires less capital. And let's face it, $30 million budget is a lot harder to recoup in sales than a $3 million budget. You simply do not need to over-capitalise your investment. So what you want is a genre that will sell in almost every geographical location. Now, before you say, I don't like horror movies, I don't like thriller movies, neither do I. Okay, I'm not a fan of them. But believe it or not, the largest film demographic is for horror and thriller movies. It's a massive audience out there. It's bigger than action. It's bigger than romantic comedies. It's bigger than all the other genres of film. So it's important to remember that we're not making this movie for ourselves or for our consumption, but the consumption of that large market. And we're making them because they're profitable. The fact that horror and thriller movies are so big, they actually have two dedicated streaming services, Shudder and Scream. So when you put those two streaming services together, and the big names of Netflix, Paramount, Disney, Stan, or all the others, we've got a fantastic opportunity to sell into the largest, most competitive market, and a market that now also has that other $650 million flying into it for original Australian content movies. And let's not forget, there are other markets which we'll be selling into as well. So the DVD market, the free-to-air market, and of course the cinematic market. So that's just one part of our risk management process and the Sandalwood model.
Paul, that sounds really exciting. Can you explain to us how would investing in one of the film would work?
Absolutely. Well, I guess the first thing you need to do is decide what's most beneficial in your set of circumstances. So you can invest as a private person or as a company. And one of the great things about that is both of these methods are potentially useful as part of your visa process. Now, of course, you don't have to invest just for visa purposes either.
So are there any benefit in investing as a business?
Yes, there are. Now, I can't go into specifics because I'm not a licensed financial advisor, but there are tax offsets available for any investor who invests through an Australian registered company. But like I said, you'd need to get financial advice on that, on how to structure it and what sort of returns you'd be looking at. I can't give any more information than that. But also, because you're investing as a business, there's an opportunity to own part of the copyright.
So if I invest in a film, how would I get my money back?
Okay, firstly, I've got to put this on the table. This is not a scam. So we have investment from the government in the form of grants. Each film that we put together, we talk to the government and to Screen West about government grants to help us with the process. So we carry specific completion guarantees as insurance. We also provide cost reporting at the end of each week's filming. So it's very important to make it clear that the process has to be transparent because A, the government is involved. There are multiple agencies who we're dealing with who are involved. And of course, we have insurance companies as well who are having a look at what we're doing. So other than that, getting investment money back is a pretty simple process. So once we finish the film, our sales team take the film to a number of film festivals, such as Cannes or Sundance or Berlin or Sydney, and they sell it to the various distributors in the 120 plus global regions. So once those agreements are signed, we have an independent third party who collects those payments. It's called a CAM agency. Their job is to collect the sales payments and distribute the money directly to the investors. So Sandalwood doesn't handle any of those returns. So there's no fees from our end attached. That process is auditable with the CAM agency by the investor. So using that CAM agency, we provide a level of financial security to our investors.
So as an investor, where do I sit in the repayment schedule?
So as investors ourselves, knowing when you're going to get paid is incredibly important. And the lack of clarity around a repayment schedule is one of those reasons that the Sandalwood team decided to do things ourselves. So that uncertainty around repayment is one of the issues that we find continually with other filmmakers. So to put it really simply, we pay our investors first. They are paid their return as first money out. That means they get paid before I do, before Sandalwood does. We do this for a very simple and very selfish reason, and that's because we want to do business with our investors again on the next project, the project after that, and the project after that. So it's really important to us that there is a strong, respectful relationship with the investors, so that's a priority. But there's more to the repayment of investment as well. There's also profit share. So that comes into play. Profit share comes into play once all the debts have been settled. And obviously that investment money, that's treated as a debt, so that needs to be cleared before we get into profit. Profit is where Sandalwood will get paid.
Paul, someone told me that filmmaking is fun. Is it really as glamorous as we think?
Oh, absolutely. Edith, this is the fun part. This is the part that my wife loves. So let's start with being in the film. Do you want to be in the film? I do. So I make it a goal that I'm in every film that I'm involved in, and I don't mind whether I'm a dead body or someone in the background in a crowded restaurant. It's just something very unique that not everyone can be involved in and not everyone gets the opportunity to do. And I know it's something that makes my friends very, very jealous. So we offer our investors the opportunity to be in the film. Then, of course, there's the meeting with the various celebrities. As an investor, you're welcome to come on set and meet the cast, meet the crew, meet the director, the producer. You can stay, you can have lunch, you can have coffee. Hey, imagine taking a selfie of yourself and the star and sticking it on your social media and bragging to your friends, hey, here I am on the set of my movie. So we also put on a dinner for our key investors for each film. So that's a dinner with the actors, the director, the producer, and ourselves. At the end of filming, there's the wrap party. Now, I don't know if you know, but a wrap party is a bit of a tradition in the film industry, and that's held at the end of filming to celebrate everyone's hard work. Now, there's obviously a lot of hard work that continues after that in editing, but what we do is we get all the cast, all the crew together, and we have a wrap party to celebrate the end. And lastly, and most importantly, is the red carpet launch. So I'm not going to go into red carpet launch because I think everyone knows what they look like.
Thanks, Paul, for your time today and all the information that you have provided to us.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thank you.
If you want to know more information about this exciting opportunity, feel free to reach out to me so I can put you through to Paul at Sandalwood Entertainment.